Detective, this is Andrea Bowen again. I'm just really scared and I feel like he's still watching. Detective?
Andrea, this is how the world ends.
Hypnotic is a 2021 American thriller film directed by Matt Angel and Suzanne Coote, written by Richard D'Ovidio. The movie opens with a woman named Andrea leaving her office building for the day. She appears frightened and leaves a message for a detective insisting that he is still after her. While in the elevator, she receives a call from an unknown number that tells her, "Andrea, this is how the world ends." Andrea then sees the elevator walls closing in on her, as she screams in terror. The later investigation reports mentioned she died of a heart attack.
Dr. Mead.
Hi.
This is Jen, as in Jen.
Yes, I'm...
Jen Thompson is an unemployed software engineer woman struggling after a miscarriage and who decides to seek professional help in the form of therapist. Dr. Colin Mead. Dr. Mead uses hypnosis on his patients to help them overcome their worst fears, and Jen decides to go under to determine how best to move on from her trauma and how to proceed in her relationship with her ex-fiancé. The hypnosis works surprisingly well on Jen, so well, in fact, that Jen completely blacks out for the duration of the hypnosis session. She also starts having dreams about waking up in bed with Dr. Mead. Jen starts feeling much happier and starts seeing Dr. Mead less often.
Jennifer, what do you want?
Just want to be happy again. You know?
Feel the weight of your body as it melts into the couch until you arrive at the top of your head. I want you to find yourselves.
That was an hour? I felt like 3 minutes.
One day, Dr. Mead convinces Jen to invite her ex-boyfriend, Brian, to dinner. The idea is to help Jen find closure in that relationship. Jen dutifully invites Brian to dinner. When she goes to the grocery store, she receives a call on from an unknown number and she blacked out. When she is back in consciousness, she is at the dinner table and Brian is in her bathroom having a severe allergic reaction. Brian is rushed to the hospital, where he enters a coma. Jen is aware of his allergy and has no memory of cooking the meal or anything after she receives the call.
Eyelash.
Thank you.
Let me suggest something.
Okay.
Invite Brian to your place for dinner tonight.
No.
Trust me, you'll be on your turf. You can cook a good meal, tell him you got some matters you need to discuss. I think it'd be very good for you.
Hey, it's Brian. I got your message. Yeah, I'll be there.
Hello?
Jennifer, carry the fire.
Meanwhile, Jen finds a receipt in her home for sesame oil and remembers deliberately adding sesame oil to the salad in a hypnotic state. Jen begins to suspect that Dr. Mead is controlling her using hypnosis. She does a quick Google search and discovers a story about a woman named Andrea, the woman who died at the elevator. And she discovers that Dr. Mead has a history of using hypnotic suggestion on his patients to deadly effect. She shares her thought with her best friend Gina. She was scared because she takes hypnotherapy in her last session.
It was an accident, Jen. I can't remember anything. I remember being at the store. And then I'm at home sitting at the table.
Jen and Gina track down the detective on Andrea's case, Detective Rollins. Detective also points out that Andrea was hypnotized and put into a claustrophobic situation which was the cause of a heart attack. But they don't have a way to prove it. Jen decides to record her next hypnosis session with Dr. Mead. Unfortunately, he gets the truth out of her and learns that Gina knows about him too.
That's what happened to me. What did she do?
Technically, she died of a heart attack, but Whatever she was seeing in that elevator is what caused it. I think you should find yourselves a new therapist.
Jen? He hypnotized me.
Jen tries to warn Gina, but it is too late. Gina and her husband crash and dies. Detective Rollins and Jen understood Dr. Mead is responsible for both Gina and Andrea's death, but they don't have a way to prove it. Meanwhile, Detective Rollins was attacked by one of the patients of Dr. Colin with a knife.
Come see me today.
To record you.
This is Gina.
Gina, this is how the world ends.
Jen decides to counter hypnosis with a good therapist in an attempt to remember any information that might help them nail Dr. Mead. During her counter-hypnosis, Jen remembers the name and the address. Jen decides to go to the address by herself. Surprise, when Jen arrives at the address, she discovers it's a trap.
My mentor was a psychiatrist. Don't save yourself.
I have to go.
No, wait. I can't remove all of his suggestions, but maybe I could plant something of my own.
This is Dr. Mead's house, and Jen discovered that Dr. Mead is actually named Julian Sullivan. Julian uses hypnosis on women who resemble his deceased wife Amy during the hypnosis sessions. Mead was giving Jen his dead wife's memories, hoping to replace her. Trapped inside the former home of Dr. Colin, Jen waits for Detective Rollins to arrive at her rescue.
So beautiful woman. But then so are you, Jennifer.
I don't understand.
Xavier was my father. Jennifer,
No, just wait.
sleep.
However, Wade struggles with Julian due to injuries sustained in a prior attack. Jen, dizzy and still kinda under hypnosis, points a gun in the direction of both Mead and Rollins and pulls the trigger. When she wakes up, she's in Rollins' arms, who tells her that she shot Mead and that it's all over. "I promise, my love," he says. The phrase "my love" was the trigger word for Jen's counter-hypnosis from the other, nice therapist. Jen wakes up and realizes she's actually in Mead's arms, and that she shot Rollins by mistake. She runs and finds Wade injured. Colin chases her, but she eventually recovers a weapon concealed on Rollins' ankle and kills Julian.
Jen, it's Rollins. You're gonna be fine. I promise, my love.
If you are ever under a post-hypnotic suggestion by Dr. Colin Mead, and he refers to you as my love, you will ignore every single trigger he put into your head.
I'm not your love.
Jennifer!